So we'll discuss this topic in detail, file management in Python. The topics we'll discuss in this lecture are Python files, operations on files, different modes of files, and what is file encoding, read and write methods, then methods that we can apply on files, renaming or deleting files, what are directories, and what are directory methods. So we'll discuss all these topics during our lecture. First of all, we should know that why files are required. So far, we have developed so many programs using loops or decision-making statements or using native data types like lists, tuples. Fine, we have done exception handling also, modules, functions. But when output appears on your screen, it is just temporary. It is there only for a few seconds until you press the enter key or close the output window. It remains until that time. But if we want to save that output permanently, then we need to use files. So file is a very important concept. You know that in our computer system, whatever we do, we save it in a file. Suppose you are making your practical files, you are saving it. Because when I'll ask you to show me your practical files, either today or either in the middle of the semester or at the end of the semester, you need to show me. So that's why you need to save it. And file can be saved in any format. And the type of file is determined by its extension. Suppose if the extension of file is JPG, that means it's an image file. And if it is .mp3, that means it's a music file. And if it is MP4, that means it's a video file. And if you want to save text files, then the extension can be txt or doc. It's a document file. Fine. And there is new extension also, docs, which exhibits XML encoding in it. That's why its name is docs. So there are various kinds of files and we determine the type of file by its extension. In every file name, there is extension appended to it. Fine. So in this lecture, we'll study how to save files in Python and how to do it by using programming. So whatever the output you see on the screen, it just resides on the RAM, random access memory. So it is a temporary one. But if you want to save it permanently on the secondary storage, that means on your hard disk, then we need to know about files. So this is the main purpose of files, which I have told you. And there are certain reasons also. Let's go through them once. The complete data will be lost if either the system is turned off or power failure occurs. When we don't use files, when we don't save it permanently, then when the power is off, or you can say when the system is turned off or when power failure occurs, then the complete data can be lost if you haven't saved it. And in script programming, you also save the files, right? But if you do programming in interpreter mode or interactive mode, it doesn't get saved. That's why I told you to prefer script programming so that you can save your programs and you can use them or you can update them later on also. So this is also, you can say, file option, or you can say file provision is given by Windows, Linux, or other operating systems so that we can see the files later on also. Repetition of same data entry will be a time-consuming process. Suppose you have made a large program where you have done a lot of input. Then if you are going to run that program again, then you need to input the same data again and again, every time. But when you save the output in a file, you will just give the output only once. Suppose you need to enter data of 100 students and you want to know their result, their rank, their grade. Then you need to input the data only once, students' data only once, and then the output will be saved to the disk and then you can check it later on. Fine. But if you don't save the output in a file, then you need to input the entire data again. So you can see This is the major application of files. It is cumbersome to enter a huge amount of data through the keyboard or any other input device. It is same as the previous one. So it's very difficult to input the data either by any input device. Data cannot be corrected or updated. But you need to enter the correct data whenever you feed the input. Because if you give the wrong input, then the result will automatically be wrong. That is why there is an option of validation. You have seen in your web forms also, whenever a user inputs a wrong data, suppose in the place of mobile number, if user enters characters, suppose user is giving characters, then it will generate an error that enter a valid mobile number, because mobile number can only be digits and the number of digits are also specified. As in India, 10 digits are there, and in abroad, mostly 9 digits are used. So there is validation on those text boxes. This is also part of the programming. The data is unreliable if it needs to enter through the keyboard. In case of an error during the data entry process, the entire process will be started all over again. Suppose you are entering a large amount of data. Suppose if you are giving wrong input, then you need to input the entire data again. If you are making 100 entries and on the 35th entry, if you make some error, then you need to input the entire data again. Fine. So if you save the output on file, just you need to input the data entirely correct just one time, and then you can use it any number of times later on. But if you are doing using that program again and again and inputting 100 elements again and again, then there are numerous chances of error. Problems can also be faced during testing and debugging during the program. So it also related to this point, because inputting the data again and again will lead to testing and debugging again and again. Validation and verification of data is not possible without saving it on the file. So it is obvious the data which has been already input can be verified and validated by checking it thoroughly. The reliability of information increases while saving it on the disk as file, because you can print out that file and you can check it, or you can vet it thoroughly if you have saved it in a file. And efficiency of the program also increases. It is very obvious because you have executed the program only once and then you are using it again and again. So that's why efficiency of the program also increases. After that, these are the points for which we are preferring files. We should prefer files. And if you go for a formal definition of a file, it is a file is a single entity pertains to a collection of related data structure. It is very clear. A file is a single entity which contains related data structure. I already told you an image file contains related data that is in the form of pixels. So its extension is .jpg. A text file contains different characters, symbols, or special characters. So it is in the category of text file. And in video format MP4, it contains different frames of images. There are almost 30 frames per second in a video. 30 frames means 30 images in 1 second. And then it makes a video. So similar kind of data is input or entered in an entity, entered into an entity, and it is referred to as a file. Next is operations on files. So from here onwards, we'll going to know how to create file, how to read and data from the file, and then how to close a file. So first of all, we need to open a file. The very first operation is you need to open the file. Then we will perform either read operation or write operation on the file. And then after performing either reading or writing, we'll close the file. So all these three operations are very important. First of all, opening a file. It's a very simple method to open a file. A file can be opened with open method. See, in Python, file handling is quite easier as compared to C, C++, or Java. Here methods are simple and file reading and writing methods are also simple. So it's quite easier as compared to the previous languages. So if you see the syntax of opening a file, this is file object is equal to, then we'll write the open function, and in the parentheses, we'll write file name, then access mode, and then buffering. It is having 3 arguments: the file name, which is going to open, access mode, whether we are going to open the file in either read mode, write mode, or append mode. These are 3 basic modes. Fine. So here we can specify the mode, and in the last argument we specify buffering. Buffering means, suppose when you are watching a video on YouTube or any other video platform, the video buffering occurs automatically. So if we set the value, it is having different integer values, either 0, 1, and so on. 0 means default buffering. Buffering will not occur. And if you set it 1, then buffer size will be 1. If you set it 2, then buffer size will be 2, and so on. And if you specify negative value, then it uses the default value 0. So let's study these arguments one by one. First of all, the first argument is file name. It is very clear. Every file should have a name. So file name contains, the file name argument is a string value that contains the name of the file that the programmer wishes to access. So here we need to mention the file name. Let's suppose the file name is data.txt. So this is the file name which we are going to access. Then access mode. The access mode determines the mode in which the file has to be opened, either read mode, write mode, or append mode. There are various modes also, but these 3 are the basic modes. Next one is buffering. If the buffering value is set to 0, no buffering takes place. If the buffering value is 1, line buffering is performed while accessing a file. Suppose we are reading a text file and we set buffer value as 1, then it will read the file line by line, one line. And if I set the value 2, then it will read 2 lines at once. And if I set it 3, then it will read 3 lines in one go, and so on. If the programmer specifies the buffering value as integer greater than 1, then the buffering action is performed with the indicated buffer size. The negative value of buffer size represents the system default behavior. That means no buffering. So negative indexing doesn't matter the buffer size. These are the 3 arguments which are very important. Now there are 2 ways to open a file. Let's see. FP is equal to open data.txt, where FP is the file object. You can also call it file pointer as we do in C or C++. It is like a file pointer, FP. You can say here a file object because pointers does not exist in Python. Here they refer to it as file object. File pointer or file object is equal to open. This is open function. And then in parentheses, we'll give the file name. So it will open this file in the current directory where your program is residing. Data.txt, this is the file name. And if it does not exist, then the system will create a new file with this name, data.txt. And another way is FP is equal to open. If we want to save the file in some other folder or another directory, then we can specify the path also. So here a complete path is given, C drive, and in that Python progs directory, and inside it data.txt. You can specify a complete path also for saving your file. So there are 2 ways. You can skip the arguments also. Here we didn't mention any argument, either access mode and the last one buffering is skipped over here. We didn't use it. The main argument is the first one, that is the file name, which is compulsory to mention. Fine. Now file modes. Let's study file modes. There are various modes. This is a list. R is the read mode. Opens a file for reading only. The file pointer is placed at the beginning of the file. This is the default mode. So if I don't specify here data.txt, I told you, I have written here data.txt, it will automatically open the file in read mode by default. By default, every file is opened in reading mode. RB stands for reading in binary format. Pointer is basically at the beginning of the file in almost all the modes except the append mode. Fine. Then R plus, it opens the file in both reading and writing. The file pointer placed at beginning of the file. RB plus, it is again for reading and writing, where the file will be opened in binary mode. W is for writing only, and it overwrites the contents of the file if it already exists. It is very important to know, if there is some content in the file, then entire content will be deleted and new content will take that place. WB stands for writing in binary mode. This is W plus is for reading and writing both. WB plus is also for reading and writing in binary format. A is for append mode. This is a new one, but you have studied it in C and C++ also. Append means if you want to add something at the end of the file, if you want to make some modifications, some additions, then append mode is preferred. Opens a file for appending. The file pointer is at the end of the file if the file exists. So I told you, in case of append mode, the file pointer points at the end of the file. But in reading and writing modes, the file pointer always points at the beginning of the file. That is, the file is in the append mode. If the file does not exist, it creates a new file for writing. So it also creates a new file if it doesn't exist. AB stands for appending in binary mode. And then A plus is also for opens a file for both appending and reading. The file pointer is at the end of the file. If it exists, the file opens in the append mode. If the file doesn't exist, it will create a new one for reading and writing. X is for exclusive creation. If the file already exists, the operation fails. That means it will create a new file only. A again stands for append mode. T is for text mode. B is for opens in binary mode, and plus opens a file for updating. These are specified with these modes, like we have written A plus, AT, or they can be used along with the previous modes, T, B, and plus. Fine. So these are various modes of the file. So let's see through an example. Here we have opened a file, fp open data.txt. So by default, it will be opened in either read mode or read text mode. Next is data.txt w. That means the file is opened in write mode. And here file is opened in read and write in binary mode. Both for reading and writing. B stands for it is opened in binary mode. Next, file object attributes. There are certain attributes associated with the file which give result either in true or false and give the values appropriately. For example, if I write fp.closed, it checks whether the file is closed or open. If the file is closed, it will return true, otherwise it will return false. Next is fp.mode, returns access mode with which file was opened. That means the result will be either read, write, or append. fp.name, it will give you the file name. fp.softspace returns false if space explicitly required with print, or true otherwise. It is associated with white space. If you want to print space also, it will return true, false, otherwise it will return true. So let's see through an example. fp is equal to open data.txt wb. That means a file is opened in write binary mode. Now we are going to check different methods along with this pointer. If I write fp.name, it will give the name of the file, which is data.txt. If I want to check whether file is closed or not, fp.closed, it will return false because it is opened right now. Opening mode, what is the opening mode? It is WB. It will return the mode of the file. Suppose you have created numerous files, and if you want to check the status of a file, then these methods can be used to check the status of a file. Fine. Next is encoding. What is encoding? Encoding is very important. In C, C++, ASCII encoding is used. You have heard about it? ASCII. American Standard for I forgot its full form. American Standard for Information Interchange. I forgot about C. And for every character you type or every number or any alphabet you type, there is a corresponding code associated with it. Suppose if you write small a, then 97 number is, that means it understand it as 97. C or C++ understand it as 97. Similarly, there is encoding for Python language also. There are two types of encodings, which are, one is for Windows and other is for Linux based systems. So these encodings are CP1252, which is used for Windows, and UTF-8, which is used with Linux. Fine. So you can specify the encoding also while working on files. FP is equal to open test.txt mode R, encoding is this one. You can skip this also. By default, if you are working on Windows system, this encoding will be used. And if you are working on Linux system, then this encoding will be used. Okay. So you can skip them also. But for your awareness, you must know that there is encoding also, which is used with Python files. For Windows, it is CP1252, and for Linux, it is UTF-8. Next is closing a file. To close a file is a very important and very simple function. You just need to write the file object and then dot close. Suppose when you have created a file object FP, then you will just close it FP dot close. After working on the file, you must close the file so that no error will appear on it or no exception can occur. Another way to close the file, this is an example of opening and closing a file. Here we have opened the file data.txt in WB mode, and then we have checked the status, which we have already discussed, fp.name, closed or mode. And at the end, we have closed the file. It is very important to close the file after performing operations on it. However, sometimes if file doesn't get closed with simply fp.close, we can use exception over it. The file will be opened in the try block. FP is equal to open data.txt. This is the encoding. Then we'll perform all the operations on it, either reading, writing, or status of the file. And then under the finally block, we will close the file, fp.close. This way, it will guarantee that file is properly closed even if an exception is raised, causing program flow to stop. So it will ensure that the file will be closed surely, and it will not harm your program if you use try and finally blocks in the file handling programs. So these are all the basics of file handling. I hope you understand up to this point.